Video, I wanted to talk about why sometimes less land and less expensive land can be better than more expensive and fancy land that's like 1,000 acres or hundreds of acres or something like that. So first, to start off, you're going to pay less, right? Because when you are buying a piece of land that is 100 acres versus half an acre or 1 acre, you're going to pay less money. And unless you have a specific use for this 100-acre lot or this 20 acres that you intend to purchase, buying a bunch of land just to buy a bunch of land is cool if you have a ton of money and you're willing to pay higher taxes and things like that. Even though with land, it's usually pretty reasonable. Make sure that you have an idea of what you're looking for. If you just want a nice house, an acre, you can put a nice house on an acre. An acre is the size of a football field, like between the 0 and the 100 yards line and the width. So that's what I would say is so that's number one of why I think cheap land can be better than expensive land, because you pay less money for it, which is obvious, and you know this. And you pay less property taxes. Number three is also you can easily sell it, right? So if we've seen land that starts at like $2,000 all the way to like 2 million to 5 million to 10 million to really expensive ranches on the internet. And the one thing is the less price of property, even the difference between 50 grand and 150 grand, especially when it comes to land, is pretty giant, especially because banks just don't hand out easy loans on vacant land. It's easier for your liquidity. You're able to sell the land a little bit faster or a lot faster if there's a balance between the size of the land and the price of the land versus something that's like more for you're able to sell if your piece of land is affordable to the everyday person or someone who's had something a little saved up, that you're going to be able to sell that land a lot faster than if you try to sell someone a piece of land that's like 600 grand or 800 grand. We've clearly seen that land that's 50 grand will sell a lot faster than a land that's 500 grand. So two things right there. Number one, like I said, is that it costs you less money, you pay less taxes, and number three is you're able to sell it faster. So of course, with that, there's some negatives to it too. Like maybe your land is too small for you to expand in the future, right? That's what I would say would be one negative of why you should, consider buying cheaper land, because it's easier to liquidate, but it's also becomes hard if you have this giant plan, like, oh, I want to have horses or something else. There might be some limiting factor too when it comes to if you end up going for a smaller piece of land or a cheaper piece of land. So it depends totally on what you're looking to do, but let me know what you guys think. Drop it down below if you have any questions or, what are your thoughts and what are your plans for the property that you're intending on purchasing, and how do you approach this topic? Do you think cheap land is like great and the way to go? And when I say cheap land, it does not mean bad land. I just mean lower priced land, right? So like under 50 grand or under 60 grand. It depends on where you're at, because it's all relative depending on where you are in the country. So yeah, drop your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think. And I hope these few things were helpful in relation to